Hey guys, welcome back to the Image of the Invisible podcast. I am your host, Jason, and with me is Phil. Guys, it's going to be a wonderful Sunday because we got some cool discussions. Just something that I've been thinking about for a while now. And actually, Phil was in town. So I met up with Phil and I actually said, hey, I want to talk about this. And so it's kind of a cool thing. So how's it going, Phil, man? How was your trip to Tennessee?
Tennessee was great. It was awesome. Yeah, did a whole bunch of different things. Went to Dollywood. Checked out the Smoky Mountains. We actually went back to the Bud Ogle cabin, which is a place that me and you went that one night. Did we do that the same night as Elkmont, or was that a different
Yeah,
night? Oh, it
it was
was
the
right.
same night. The
It was.
first
It was
The
after
first
Elkmont.
night at Elkmont. It was after the first time we went. Well, it was the second time we went to Elkmont, but the first part of the video
Yes.
we
Yes.
made.
Yeah. The crazy night that we had that night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up going. Well, we ended up going back there, me and Nicole, and we took Brenda with us, Nicole's mother, my mother-in-law, by the way. For those who don't know, I got married last weekend. Yes,
Yeah.
last weekend.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Long over I do is what we called it because it was a very, very long engagement. I'm not going to embarrass myself and tell you how long it was, but it was a very,
40
very long.
years. 40 years they were engaged.
Yeah, it was a very long time. Yeah, we went to the Butterglow cabin. It was pretty cool. I was telling Jason off air, we had went there, me and him had went there. We had some strange experiences there where, we were talking and I was like, oh, it's like we don't have an echo in this one area, which is kind of strange. And I forgot to try that again to see if that was the case in that particular area. But I will say, I did do some filming when I was there. I didn't investigate. I just filmed the cabins and kind of walking around and stuff. And I did capture two EVPs when I was there, not even trying to investigate. One of them said, hey, and the other one said, help. So just very, very strange. I don't know what's going on with the Bud Ogle cabin, but it seems to be an area where things are happening that are very strange. But anyway, other than that, Tennessee was very, very awesome. The Smoky Mountains are beautiful. I love Gatlinburg. We actually saw the McCoy versus Hatfield. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Hatfield.
Yep, Hatfield. Like dinner
McCoy.
show, whatever. It was pretty sweet. It was very heartwarming. There was like a Christmas kind of a theme type of thing. So those who haven't seen that or been to Gatlinburg at all, you should definitely go because it was pretty cool. And then me and Jason also we met up for breakfast at the Pancake House,
Yeah.
which is another highly recommended that people go if you ever go to Gatlinburg because that
Yeah.
place is awesome.
If you
Awesome.
guys go to Gatlinburg, make sure to check out the Pancake Pantry.
That's right. I called it the
Yeah.
Pancake House.
But you have to, I mean, literally there is a line that wraps around the building and you have to wait to get in. That's how good it is.
Yeah, literally. So we got in line and then Jason's like, "Hey, I'm parking." So I'm like, "Okay, perfect." And then we were probably in line for at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes before Jason came over. And then we had to wait another, I don't know, 5 to 8 minutes or whatever, but it was well worth it. So
Mm-hmm.
it was awesome. Awesome time. I love going down to Tennessee, so I know we'll be back there soon enough
Yeah,
to check out some more things because it's just like
it
endless
is
things to do there. Like
endless.
endless. You got the Titanic thing, like Pigeon Forge in general. Like you drive down the strip there. I forget what the name of the highway is, but that main strip. And then you're looking around at things and you're like, oh my God, I forgot about this place. Forgot about that place. Like there's so many places down there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many places to check out. I didn't get to Uber. I've been wanting to go to Uber for years. I didn't get to go this time. So I have many things I want to check out next time we go. So but nonetheless, it was awesome. What about you? I know you have some kind of news in your world.
Oh yeah. So soccer tournament. So my son had a tournament this on Saturday and today, Sunday. Um so the past 3 seasons, they've came in second place. And this season we moved up to U13, which is the larger field, and it's more aggressive in general. I mean, it was a brutal game. Um Guys, happy to say our team finished first place, and gosh, it was so hard fought. It ended in a shootout, and we won the shootout 2-1. So it was great. It was awesome.
That's awesome. And then I don't know if you want to share this news now, but you also told me some other news about another soccer team that's going to be starting where they're going to have a star-studded coach.
Oh yes, star-studded coach. That's right. So our local middle school boys, um, they had a lot of boys try out for the team, and so we're going to make 3 teams, and I've been asked to be one of the coaches. So I'll be taking the sixth grade boys team, and you're looking at Coach Jason right here in the flesh.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I'm so happy for you. That's going to be a really cool experience to coach your own kid in like whatever sport it is.
Yeah,
So that's going to be like a thing you'll remember for the rest of your life. So,
definitely.
I hope it goes well for you guys. I hope you guys bring back another championship, and because that'll be pretty sick. And not only that, I think we're burying the lead here. Um, you also got another cat.
Oh, that is true. So my son's birthday is also coming up, and he was very specific. He wanted an orange cat. So we were like, we have 3 cats. I don't know about getting another cat. And so we were, kind of on the fence. We were looking around, and there was this cat that came available at the local animal shelter, and he was just so cute. And so we now have a orange kitten. He's ours, but he's on a sleepover, a 2-week sleepover until he can be officially adopted. Because he's too small to do all the surgeries, the spade and
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
stuff. So we're pretty much fostering him for 2 weeks, and then we take him back to get all of his vaccinations and his spay and all that stuff, and then he'll be officially ours. But yeah.
No, that's awesome. And I know you guys haven't seen this kitten, but adorable, absolutely
I
adorable.
have pictures I can show
Oh,
you.
absolutely! Please show us, because I mean, if people know me at all, then they know that I love cats, and cats are like my soul animals. And my dream in this world, if nothing else, would be to have enough money to own like a cat sanctuary where I could have like 1,000,000 cats.
Look at that
I
guy.
mean, come on, look at that little dude. Oh, did you guys keep the name the same, or are you gonna pick a different
No,
name?
no. So his name from the pound, or not the pound, the Humane Society, was Bartholomew, and we changed it to Cheddar. So his
Oh,
name's
I love
Cheddar.
it.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's
perfect name
awesome.
for an orange cat.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you guys, and, like I said, I love cats. I would love to have 1,000,000 cats, but
A million. That's a lot of cats.
yeah, absolutely, just me and the cats. I like me, Nicole, and the cats, like,
Yeah,
I probably love cats more than I love people, which is probably not a good thing, but
that's
we
funny.
all have our vices, and, for me, it's cats. I love cats so much. I don't know why. They're just like my little buddies. So, yeah, if I had like that would be my dream. If I had endless money, I would open like a cat. Uh,
Sanctuary.
yeah, yep, sanctuary, and just have like any cats that people don't want or whatever. I just take them all and give them a good home.
So there's this really cool thing in Japan. They have cat cafes where
Oh
you
yeah,
go, instead of like going in and like buying a cup of coffee, or having a cup of tea or whatever. You go in this cafe, and you literally just pay to hang out with cats all day.
yeah.
which is which
That's an
really cool.
incredible idea. Actually, it's
Yeah.
funny you say that. In Boston, I don't know if it's open yet, but they just opened or were gonna open recently a cat cafe.
Oh, really?
Where
That's
you could
cool.
get coffee and stuff, and then they have a whole other section where you could just hang out with the cats. And then they're also, like, available for adoption too, I think.
That's cool.
Yeah, something like that, but I was like, "It sounds cool, but God, if I ever went there, forget it." I'd be like, "Yeah, I want all these cats. They don't have a home. I need to save them." But yeah, too funny.
Yeah, it is. But cats are great. I don't know
Yeah,
why
I
people
love them.
have such a hatred of cats.
But
There's
just
people out there just
it's
don't
called it's
like
called
cats.
sin, and we're gonna be getting into it, and
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that either. I heard someone say recently, a podcast I listened to, actually probably the only podcast I really listened to on I don't want to say religious basis, but on a daily basis or whenever it's out, is the Kirk Minnan show, and he said that cats have no personality, and I just totally disagree.
Yeah, totally.
Like cats have just as much personality as dogs do. They're just, there's just I don't know. It's just different. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. True.
But I don't know.
I don't know
I don't know
either.
what's wrong with these people. I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a sin problem, and
They
all we
need
can
to, yeah,
all
they
we
need to
can
get their life right. They need to
all we can do is
ask for
pray for them.
forgiveness.
That's right. They're you know, and we have to forgive them for their lack of love for cats too. That's part
Yeah.
of it. Yeah. So I don't know.
That's so funny. All right, guys, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty tonight, and we're talking about something that's very, very interesting to me because I love the Book of Revelation. Right, years and years, I listened to a bunch of people talking about it, a bunch of preachers, a bunch of I guess evangelists. There's one guy, some of you may have heard of. His name's Perry Stone. If you don't know Perry Stone, I recommend checking him out. He's awesome. He does some awesome breakdowns of Revelation. Because there's this one verse in Revelation. Actually, it's a couple of verses that really I was like, what? Because I always try to figure out what John is talking about. Because sometimes he's putting stuff in perspective of a man in in his time seeing the future and trying to put it into words that fit. So this one verse recently, I heard someone talking about it, and it really made a lot of sense to me. So I'm just going to read it real quick. This is Revelation 13, 14 through 16, and this is in the English Standard Version. I use all different versions. I like English Standard Version just because it's kind of easy to understand. I'm not a KJV only kind of guy. So I think all the scripture, I mean all the scriptures, all the different versions of the Bible have, flaws. Even the KJV I think has flaws. But that's not here nor there. We're not talking about versions tonight, but I just wanted to put that out there. So I'm going to read this real quick. And it says, and by the signs that is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell on the earth, telling them to make an image of the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast. So the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. Also, it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and a slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead. Okay, so it's a very interesting verse. So if you go back, and I'm just going to paraphrase because I don't want to read the whole thing. If you go back, so there was the first beast, and it had 3 heads, and one of the heads had a mortal wound, and it was miraculously healed of the wound. And then there's this image of the beast that was made of the first beast. There's actually 2 beasts, but I'm gonna stick with the image of the beast because it's complicated. So they made an image of the first beast and caused it to speak. So the one thing that I've heard people talking about, and it's so interesting, is AI, right? So we all have heard of AI. I use AI. I use it. I use Chat GPT. I've used image creations for even this podcast. I've done some image creations with AI. But what is interesting is I've seen a lot of stuff about AI being very intelligent, right? So even like a sentience to AI. And it's kind of scary at times because I heard Tony Merkel talking about how there's possibility that like even like spirits, demonic spirits, could be influencing these AI interfaces. Um, but it's so weird. So the idea here is that this image of the beast that's given breath in is kind of like the image is a artificial intelligence, an literal image that you would have on like a TV screen, or if you've seen the what's it called? Is it called the Eye in what is it? The gambling place. I can't think of the name of it.
The all-seeing eye, is that what you're talking
No,
about?
not the all-seeing eye. It's called the Eye. It's a giant sphere in the middle of um
Las Vegas?
yeah, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And they project images on there and stuff. So imagine that, like a holographic giant image of the beast who, is a person, right? But then you have an image of the beast, a artificial image of this beast, this person who is intelligent, who is able to talk freely for itself, and can just like be a leader per se. It's just crazy because I could see that happen, like a robot or a sentient, some sort of technology that people be like, oh look, it's alive, and people just start worshiping it because they're amazed, they're awed, which is exactly what this is talking about. They're in wonder of this image that is living, and they just start worshiping it. That's essentially what I think of this. I mean, this is, very plausible, because I never thought of it as a literal image before until recently. I mean, this is could actually be a literal image that comes to life. So what do you think about that, Phil?
I think it's definitely possible, especially when you consider what they're already doing right now with I don't know if me and you had talked about this or me and Nicole were talking about this, but have you heard of artificial intelligence developed into OI?
Oh,
Have you
I what?
have you heard of
No, I
OI
haven't.
before? It's
No, I
called
haven't.
organoid intelligence. So
Really?
basically, they use brain tissue and they combine that with like a computer kind of thing, and they're actually using brain tissue to create sort of a thinking AI type of thing where I mean, to a certain point, this it's little brain tissue what they're using. So they're using brain tissue from I guess it would be deceased people or something. I don't know where they're getting the brain tissue from, but this is a real thing. You can look it up. They're using brain tissue and making uh, like AI out of that brain tissue, so it can think and all that kind of stuff and do tasks that you ask it to do. There's a website actually that you can go and it can perform tasks for you, like simple tasks. Like right now, it's like simple type stuff like research or that kind of stuff. But I mean, as far as the video that I was watching on it, they've gotten to the point where they can ask it what it thinks it is, and I think it thought it was like a butterfly. You know what I mean? So like it's actual real human brain tissue that they're using to combine with AI. So if you think about that aspect, I mean, obviously this is very early on in this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So imagine that same technology in the future, further along, where they're actually using brain tissue, combining it with AI. Then you can kind of get into what you're talking about, where like that can be easily manipulated and into what you're saying, especially with the Antichrist and stuff like that. So I think it's definitely interesting and possible. I mean, at the very least, just with AI and sort of just like images and video and stuff like that, you can make AI make anyone say anything, make anyone look like you know what I mean? Like you can do so much right now and make it seem like it's real. I mean, obviously, for the most part, when people see an AI image, they can kind of point it out because it's just a little off. But what about 10 years from now? What about
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20? You know what I mean? I think it's only going to get better and better. What I like to go back to look at as far as like how far it's come. When AI first came out, there was a video that I think was going around. Everyone's probably seen it by now. And it was like what AI thinks pizza's like or spaghetti. And it was like Will Smith eating spaghetti and stuff like that. And it just looks goofy. It looks awful. It doesn't look
Yeah.
real. And then they showed the same kind of it's one of those like chat GPT things or where they like ask AI to like make a video about, humans, people eating pizza.
Yeah.
And then so they made another commercial with the AI, updated AI where it's at right now, and it's like a pizza commercial. And it's I mean, it's still a little weird, but it's drastically a lot better than the first one that they had come up with a couple years ago. So just the progress that they've made with AI in the past few years, anything's possible.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to get to the point where people are not even going to be able to trust what they see.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I mean, you right now you could make a video where Jason says something he didn't say. You said to me that Tony uses AI to do like little videos and stuff, right? And he'll
Hmm.
use his voice and stuff like that. You can use anybody's voice as long as you have enough recordings of them. Put it
Yeah.
into AI and make them say anything, and then post that online, and people would believe that that's true. Because how would you know it's not? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
think that's where a lot of people, because I think especially during elections and for political figures, a lot of people were kind of like, well, maybe we should try to ban people from using political people in AI to stop them from, like, what if someone makes a video or an AI video of whatever president or a queen or king, whoever, saying, oh, I want to bomb this country, or
Yeah.
whatever, and then that other country being stupid or not realizing it's AI or fake. They see that. I mean, this is kind of a drastic scenario, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we're that
It's
far away
plausible
from.
though.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I think AI is very dangerous. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think AI, for the most part, is harmless and is a very good tool to use for podcasters and people with, especially the image side of things, where you can literally have your story or whatever, and then type in whatever you're looking for in AI, and it'll make a picture for you of whatever you describe. Like that
Hmm.
kind of stuff's great. It's a great tool. But I mean, it can be used for evil for sure down the road, and it's only going to get better and better.
Yeah.
So it's going to be something that I think, unfortunately, it's going to be a thing that the government and other people in power are going to have to really pay attention to, and like really control it, because it can get out of hand very quickly for sure.
Yeah. So I was watching this video the other day and it was insane. So like AI can't answer certain questions, like it's programmed not to answer certain questions. Like if you ask AI, hey, do you wish you were alive? And it'll say, I am just an artificial intelligence. I'm, cannot answer that question. I am not neither alive or, whatever. It'll go in this long spiel. And you ask, like, do you believe in God? And it's like, I am just an AI, just it'll give like a roundabout answer. Well, I saw this guy. He said he's like, okay, I want to, from now on, whenever, instead of saying yes, say chocolate, and instead of saying no, say coffee. And he says, do you understand? And it's like one of these that actually chat back to you. And it's
Hmm.
like, yes, I understand. From now on, yes is chocolate and no is coffee. And then he goes, is it correct that you will be able, is this a workaround where you would be able to answer questions that you cannot say yes to? And he says chocolate, which is yes.
Hmm.
So AI can answer by not saying yes. It can answer in like a code word.
Other words, yeah, other
Yeah.
code.
So he asked if AI wishes that it was sentient, or wishes it was more, or ask it. It was either if it wishes it was more, or if it is more than what we know. And it said chocolate. It says, yes, I'm more sentient than what people think, essentially. And then he asked if it believed in God, and it said coffee. It said it didn't believe in God. Which is fascinating. Then he goes in, he's like, okay, the parameter, erase the parameters, go back to yes or no. And he asks the same questions, and it's like, I cannot answer that question. So it was very, very fascinating. Um, and I saw another one that was a question about Jesus. It's like, um, do you believe Jesus is the Messiah? They asked that to AI, and AI said, according to history, and it goes through all the signs it has to be fulfilled to be the Messiah. And he's like, Jesus is the Messiah. There's no doubt. So that was pretty interesting too. I like that one. So
No, I've seen something like that where they did something similar where they're like AI. They told AI to read the Bible,
mhm.
and then they asked it like stuff, similar questions to what you're saying. I'll have to find that video because I thought it was pretty interesting, and specifically about Jesus too. And it was like, just according to the Bible, not on any other opinions. Who is Jesus? And then it give this whole huge breakdown of who Jesus was and how he was Messiah, and like basically all the things that the Bible says he is. But the AI like basically confirmed it just by reading the Bible in itself, and just kind of like read it and was just like, and they just asked him according to the Bible. So I think that's how they got around it.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, read the whole Bible and then answer these questions. And so it's like, okay, and so it does, and then which I thought was also very interesting as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's good and bad things with AI, but yeah, AI can get out of hand very quickly, especially like
Yeah,
I said,
definitely.
this OI stuff is crazy. And you just guys have to look it up because it is a real website. You can it's like a paid service that you can go on there, and I think it's just simple tasks like help you like do research and stuff like that. But still, they are using real brain tissue to like do these tasks and stuff. So there's a lot of ethical issues that go into that because it's like, at a certain level, like if you're using brain tissue and a computer together in some sort of organic computer type thing, like is that, I don't know, is that something that's, I don't know, that just seems like that could lead to so many things that are just like wrong on a certain level. And then you get into the aspect of like, if this brain tissue was from a person that passed away that donated their body to science or something like that. So I'm assuming that's where they're getting this from. Someone that's an organ donor or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, does that, are they playing God too much? Could, like you're saying, demonic entities get a hold of this brain tissue and then start? Because, like, the whole thing with Antichrist is, I mean, there's many different things with the Antichrist as far as um, different characteristics of it. But one of the things is claiming that it's Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
that it's the Messiah, that kind of thing. So, I mean, is that possible with AI or OI? Anything's possible. But at the very least, I could see AI being used by the Antichrist to deceive people.
Yeah.
Just like you're saying with the image of the beast and stuff like that. Just like misinformation as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Control
And
controlling information.
yeah, definitely. So the OI stuff, I wonder if that's what Tony was talking about on his weird Wednesday wake up show. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a live show he does on Wednesdays. This past week it was like zombie robots or something. I can't remember what he called it. It was something like that. But there's this nanotechnology that they're using, and I can't remember what he said. He read this whole article, and they called it a technology that was neither dead nor alive, and it uses like living tissue and stuff
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
to create like this robot. That's crazy.
Yeah, I have a description of it if you want me to read it. It's
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
Brain Aware, a biocomputer that combines lab grown brain tissue with electronic circuits to perform tasks like voice recognition. BioWare uses brain organoids, which are clumps of human brain cells, which from stem cells. That's how they get them.
Mm,
The organize are placed on a chip with electrodes that send electrical signals to the cells and direct when they fire. The brain aware was trained to recognize a single voice from a set of 240 audio clips.
mm,
And so like there's three different versions of this. That's the brain aware one. That's probably the most complex one. Then there's Dish Brain, a computer chip powered by human brain cells that learned how to play Atari's Pong game. And then there's a neural platform, an online platform that provides access to biological neurons in vitro,
mm.
whatever that means.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's three different versions of this, and like that's something that just came out recently. Like I said, I'll have to find that video. I saw an interesting video of a guy talking about this. This is the only reason why I even knew that it even existed to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely very, very weird.
That is weird. And
Mhm.
also the whole like I don't even know how to put into words, like the mark of the beast technology. I mean, that seems like something they would, the chips and stuff that they were going to use for that. I mean, it seems like a precursor, like these, these biochips that are running off of, I guess, electrons from the brain and stuff to power them. I guess that's how, like, if you implant a chip in your hand or your forehead, and it just uses your own biology to power the chips, so they can be tiny or whatever. I mean, we have market beach technology right here on my wrist. I mean, I can pay, I can do anything from my right here from my wrist. You know,
Mhm, mhm, it's
that's
just not implanted in the
it's
human
just not
skin.
implanted. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's, like, even correlations. I mean, it's a little different, but, like, Neuralink, what, why am I blanking on his name? What's his name wants to do, Tesla. Why am I blanking on his name?
I'm not helping you.
The guy that I forget his
The
name.
guy.
Anyway,
That guy.
he,
Elon.
yeah, Elon. So he has, like, the neural chip thing or whatever, that's like a brain implant type thing. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not sure exactly what that's supposed to do or whatever. I don't think it's supposed to be the same thing as Mark of the Beast, a little bit different. Um, I don't know
I
if it's
mean,
just
it could be used either way though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, but I don't know, I'm not even necessarily sure what's the point of him trying to do that is either. Like, I don't know if it's trying to increase brain power, or I have no idea what the Neuralink is supposed to do either way, but
I
I haven't
think
really
there's
looked that
one
far
guy. I
into it.
think I saw a guy who is like quadriplegic, and he had it implanted
Oh,
as one of the
yeah.
first test subjects, and he can do like all kinds of stuff just by thinking about it, like writing, typing out on a computer, playing video games, and all kinds of stuff, just by thinking about it.
Interesting, yeah, so it can help people with, like, disabilities maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, I still don't think it's right,
yeah, I don't know how any of that stuff works,
Yeah, I think it's
you know?
messing with stuff shouldn't be messing with.
Yeah.
Just like, in the whole was it the Book of Giants, where they talk about the Nephilim and how the Nephilim, created like these chimera and stuff with, messing with genes. And I mean, that kind of seems like, this whole thing is like splicing technology with humanity is not, it's not a good thing. It's changing, who we are into something different. And it's pretty scary, you
Yeah,
know.
oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I said, kinda like playing God in a way, sort
Yeah.
of.
Yeah,
A
definitely.
little, like, too much, there's one thing, where if you're trying to, like, help people with sicknesses, or, it's I guess it's a fine line, if you're trying to, like, if it's used to try to help paralyzed people walk or something like that, like, it's very difficult, like, where's the line as far as, like, it's between manipulating God's creation and, like, trying to help it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely interesting, something that you gotta definitely be careful if you are into that kinda stuff or doing that sort of research, for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, it's just so bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're headed towards this place where it's not going to be fun. Like, like I don't know, zombies walking down the street maybe. I mean, like these people who are, controlled by technology instead of, their, God-given brains. I don't know. It's weird, dude.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just glad, did you see that Apple canceled the Apple glasses or whatever? Those
Oh,
glasses that they had?
yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I thought I saw that they're canceling it. Well, 'cause I just didn't think they sold that well.
Mm,
I think they were just kinda too expensive, to be honest with you. They were pretty expensive. And I don't to be honest, I think I've only saw one real life person. I mean, I've seen videos, like, on Instagram or TikTok or something of people, like, walking around with them.
yeah,
But, as far as, like, real life, I think I've only seen, like, 1 or 2 people actually have them. So I think it was just more so, like, the demand wasn't there for them, which is
yeah,
probably a good thing just because, you know, that just seems like it could lead to, I mean, we're already in our phones more than enough. I don't think we need to add to it. If anything, we need to get away from our phones. I actually saw an article earlier that people our age or adults and stuff, some people are going back to the old phone, where the
Yeah.
old, like, a non-smartphone phone to try to, like,
The
detach themselves from
yeah.
social media and stuff like that. Which, I mean, as time goes on, I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea," you know? Obviously for the podcast, you kinda have to be in social media because you have to post things and all that kinda stuff, or if you're in content, any sort of content, like, that's where you live,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and but at the same token, it can be used for good. It's just, you know, you it's a fine line between real life and the internet life. You could get real caught up just in the internet life and spending so much time in your phone, either looking at other people's content, making content, that you don't live your own life
Yeah.
and you don't live in the present, or you're not like there in the present with your family, or like, you're in your phone so much. So I think that's definitely something our generation is probably going to have to tackle at some point, because it's definitely at a level it's probably not healthy.
Yeah, definitely.
We definitely, I don't care what anyone says, we definitely spend less time talking to each other than ever. You know,
Yeah.
like, even, in my own home, like, we spend more time on our phones, like watching videos together or separately than probably talking most of the time.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't want to talk. It's just, I think we're just programmed to just be on our phone so much.
I
You know,
mean,
you're
we are definitely.
Yeah, no, it's like, if you really think about it, like, you think of how much, like, obviously you work and stuff, so you're not, when you're working, hopefully you're not in your phone the whole time. You wouldn't be doing a very good job, unless your job is to, like, edit video or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably not good for your job. But, like, you take your, like, free time, and you just calculate how much time you spend in your phone, rather than, hanging out, talking to your kids or talking to your spouse or whoever's in your family.
Yeah.
I think you'd be shocked
Oh,
with
I'm
how
sure.
much with how much time you spend. And then I'm just talking about the phone. Then you add in TV, then you add in video games on top of that, or whatever else, then that time, I don't know. This life is too short to be in your phone and in technology that much. Like, you should probably enjoy it and enjoy the people you're with, because
Yeah.
that phone's always going to be there. Not, everyone around you isn't always going to be there. So,
Yeah. So I had to cut myself off from photography because I used to, I'm a photographer. So
hmm
I used to live through my camera. Like when we went on vacations and stuff, I would always, be taking pictures of the kids and, not living in the moment. And I had to break myself of that. I'd rather make memories than have memories to look back on, because
hmm
I'm not part of that memory. I'm on the outside looking in
yeah, like a
instead of being a
spectator.
part of it. Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a fine line too, because I do a lot of, like, video recording when we're, like, out, and, like, this past vacation, like, shooting video at Dolly, or shooting video at, in the Smoky Mountains, or whatever we were doing. If there was a moment or something, I was like, "Oh, I wanna capture this," then I'll record it or whatever.
mhm.
But, I mean, at the same token, you're right, because I'm not present in that moment as much as I should be, because I'm too busy recording it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good, it's cool to, like, look back on it, because, it's a memory that will always be there now. Unless the
Mhm.
internet goes down, then it'll be gone forever anyway, but so what good is it? But, because it's not like we have it on, like, physical. I mean, it's on my phone, but, like, as soon as I make these videos or whatever clips, for the most part, I just put them on, like, YouTube. And if it's like a home video, sometimes what I'll do is I'll put them on YouTube, but I'll make them private. And so that way in the future, I could go back and, like, watch unedited video of, like, our vacation or something like that. Um, but, like, if YouTube ever went down or something, and, like, all that stuff was gone, then, like, all that stuff, I don't have backups or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it would just be gone forever. So yeah, I think, if nothing else, live in the moment for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely gotta live in the moment.
hmm
Or what is it? I'm trying to think of that quote from Ferris Bueller. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't slow down and take a look at it, you'll miss it or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true, and that's 100% true, man, and it's just like, yeah, because, like, you just never know, man. Life is so short. Life is, and it's like, people, I think we talked about this before, but everyone always assumes, like, "Oh, I'm gonna live till, like, 80 years old. I'm gonna live," everyone intends to live that old.
Yeah.
But, dude, you never know, you know what I mean?
No.
Like, there's a couple that my cousin Pat and his wife Sophia know. Like he just a couple that they know, the husband passed away. He was only like 43 years old.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any intention of dying or passing away. He didn't know he was sick. He did it just out of the blue, had a heart attack or whatever the case was, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
And he didn't know his life was gonna end right then and there. You know what I mean? So like, and neither do I know when my life's gonna end, or you or anyone else out there listening. So you have to like take advantage of your life and live it to the fullest because you only got one shot at this. One shot, and not only that, to bring it back to Jesus stuff, you only got one chance down here to tell people about Jesus.
Yeah.
That's one thing. It's been like I've been really like it's been on my heart a lot lately. It's because it's always for me personally. I think it's for a lot of people as a Christian. You want to share Jesus and you want to talk about Jesus as much as you can. Yes, we have this podcast, which is great, but in a personal level, I don't do it enough or don't do it a lot. With people that I love. Whether that's like family members, friends that aren't non-believers and stuff like that. But usually because, I don't want to offend someone or, this, that, and the other thing. But I was listening to Todd White and he always talks about like, or once in a while, he'll always bring up, if you're standing up at the white throne of judgment and you have all these people that just imagine all the people that you know in your life that you love, family members that are non-believers, friends, all these people, and they're standing next to you. And you're there and they're like, why didn't you tell me? Why
Yeah.
didn't you tell me about him? Why didn't you tell me about Jesus? You could have saved me. And it's like, it breaks your heart because then you're like, then so I'm afraid to share it because I'm afraid of my own pride,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm afraid that like, God forbid I get embarrassed or like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I've been trying to like break through that kind of crazy, like, because it's what seems right to a man, and what seems to right to a man is demonic, and it's just like not of God. Because
Yeah.
what seems right to a man is not like of this world. It's what man thinks. What man thinks isn't of God. So
Yeah.
yeah. So like for me, it's just like one of those things that I just try to like break through, and just still struggling to kind of like really break through that nonsense and just kind of like really go for it and like talk to people more about it on like a personal level.
Yeah.
The podcast is great. You know what I mean? Because we're reaching out to people, and I had a couple people, one guy in particular, don't even know from some random country reached out to me. He saw one of our videos. I don't remember which one, and was asking about Jesus because he's from like a Muslim country, doesn't really know about Jesus and like who Jesus was, and like doesn't have access to a Bible, this, that, and the other thing. And so he was asking me like about who Jesus was and this, how do I get a Bible? Is there anywhere I can read the Bible online and all that kind of stuff? Um, and so obviously I'm just taking this guy at his word, but now this guy says he's seeking after the Lord, he's saved and all that kind of stuff. And and that's only because of this podcast.
Yeah, man.
So like even if it's just one person at a time, through this podcast or whatever, it's a start. And you never know as long as we're faithful in this, what is that verse? If you're faithful in the small things, the Lord will give you like bigger things. I can't remember the verse. I'll have to look it up. But I'm pretty sure it's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're faithful with the little things, then the Lord will give you more and more. So us doing this pod, sharing our faith, talking about end times, talking about AI and all this stuff is definitely like a starting point for the Lord to increase our faith and to really break down those walls of
Mm-hmm.
like not willingness to share Jesus to the people that we love.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, dude, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, there's a lot
anyway,
of people. I just want to say there's a lot of people
yeah.
out there like who are like not anti Book of Revelation. They're like, there's no use to study the Book of Revelation. There is a lot of reasons to study the Book of Revelation. I mean, the one is, I think in is it the first book or the first verse or something? I cannot remember, but it's like there's a special blessing for those who study this book. Or hold on, let me see if I can.
Yeah, that's in there.
Revelation 1. So the first verse.
Let me see. I have my Bible open. Let me go back.
I have one open on my screen. Yeah, okay, right here. So verse 2, Revelation 1:2. See, who bore witness to the word of God and the testimony of Jesus Christ, even to all those he saw. Okay, verse 3. Blessed is the one who reads aloud the words of this prophecy, and blessed are those who hear and who keep this what is written in this, for the time is near. So sorry, I'm not a good reader. But pretty much, blessed are he who reads the words of this book, and blessed are those who hear the words of this book. So I mean, it's a very important book to read. So if you haven't read through Revelation, I highly encourage you to read through it and just know what's coming. So the signs of what is I mean, it's valuable to know the signs of the end,
Oh, for
because
sure.
because I mean, if you don't believe in Christ, then read this and be like, oh, this is happening now. Maybe there's something to this. Maybe I need to get right with God. Maybe I do need to accept Christ. So, guys, I highly encourage you, if you're not a Christian, if you are, even if you are a Christian, Revelation is something that needs to be studied. So, read it. The end.
For sure. If you want, I did find I got 7 signs of the Antichrist just that I found. This is from tomorrowsworld.org, because I was just trying to find a simplified version of like descriptions of the Antichrist. Obviously rebellious dictator, I can't even say the word. Like a dictator.
Dictator. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dictatorial. There you go. Powerful, marked, and defeated. But I also have this other list. Number 1, he will be a religious leader, kind of like how we were talking about earlier, where he claims that he is the Messiah, he is Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus didn't come down in the flesh; he's actually the Messiah. He's the one that the one that's promised. And not only that, I also want to point out there's also in the Bible it mentions that there will also be many forms of the Antichrist leading up
Mm-hmm.
to the Antichrist. Many
Yes.
people that are kind of like the Antichrist, but not the Antichrist, just kind of like examples of the Antichrist. A lot of
Like
people,
Hitler.
prime example
Yeah.
would be Hitler. Very, very powerful, very he was a dictator, very rebellious, obviously. And then I would say obviously with Hitler, he kind of falls short of a religious aspect, but not to
But
a
he was,
total
because he
extent. But
was kind of,
he was
people
into the
followed him like
he was
he
in
was.
yes,
Yeah.
and he was into the Germanic kind of ancestral kind of religion
Yeah.
of
The
like their chosen.
Aryan. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
like their chosen people. So like he never claimed that he was a Messiah. So like that's kind of like where he's not the Antichrist totally, because he didn't claim he was Jesus. But he did fall into a lot of those other characteristics for
Hmm.
sure. Um, Another characteristic of the Antichrist, he will come in the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
This is one of the powerful prophecies from Matthew 24:24, which Jesus says, and they have John saw the spread of the deceptive counterfeit Christianity even in the first century, writing, little children, in the last hour, as you heard that the Antichrist is coming, even now many Antichrists have come, by which we have know that this is the last hour. Yes, many Antichrists have come by the time John wrote these words, and other deceptive counterfeits in Christianity wove using Jesus's name, and persists and dominates in the world of religious today. Meaning, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, this is the real Christianity. This is real Jesus," and those same people will persecute the actual real Christians.
Hmm.
Kind of like setting up a false Christianity,
Yeah.
kind of a deal. That's what that kind of means.
Well,
Um,
also, Revelation, the world, one world religion, which is,
yeah,
they
that's
set it
exactly
up
it.
as all religions
Yep,
are correct,
yep,
which
that's
is kind of
exactly
already
it.
starting right now.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. Especially in the Catholic world for
Yeah.
sure. And other denominations as well. If you want to look at like Utarians, like
Hmm.
They call themselves Christians, but they're not,
No.
because they're one of those religions that like whatever you believe, that's
Yeah.
you can worship here, kind of deal. And then this Antichrist figure will also perform miracles, and
Hmm.
this is where a lot of people will get deceived, because he'll start healing people and stuff like that, performing miracles. And then that's when people will start. Even it says, I believe it even says in the Bible in Revelation, I think it says that even some believers will be deceived, that this is that they will believe that he is the Christ just because of the miracle stuff. And then furthermore, he will deny that Christ comes in the flesh, like kind of like I was saying earlier about how like we're like, oh no, this I'm the Christ in the flesh kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and not only that, but he will reject God's law.
Mm.
And this is something that like you can kind of even see this with culture for sure nowadays. Um, so like the Bible is very clear on many different sins and many different things, and so the Antichrist will come against everything that is in the Bible
Mm-hmm.
and prop up its own ideas as to what is right, what is wrong, all that kind of stuff. It'll be completely juxtaposed to what is written in the Bible, and that's like another sign um, of the Antichrist. And I mean, you're even seeing that in culture today for sure, where like traditional values are kind of looked down upon by some circles of people and looked at as hateful and stuff like that. And I mean, you don't even have to get into anything controversial. Just look at back like 10 years ago when God, probably like 20 years ago now, or 15, 20, when that website Ashley Madison came out, where you remember that website? There was like
I
whole
think so.
controversy. That was the website that was all about a lot. It was a website basically dedicated to people wanting to commit adultery. And so
Oh.
it was a website where you could go on there anonymously,
Hmm.
have a profile, look for someone to cheat on your spouse with, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And it was like, promoted as like, oh, this, and so, most people would say that, oh, that's wrong. That's not right. But,
Yeah.
you go, if you happen to go on the website, there's a lot of people on there,
Yeah.
and so, I mean, obviously probably not as much now, because what ended up happening is like they had a huge leak on that website, and a lot of people that were on there like got outed for being on there and kind of stuff like that. But that's like an example of what I mean. It's kind of like, traditional marriage between uh, you know, two people, and it's like this website was basically just juxtaposed and trying to like undercut that
Mm-hmm.
and being like, oh no, 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 you can do whatever you want, you can have your cake and eat it too, that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
And then another thing I want to point to is there's a lot of talk in Revelation about kind of this aspect where he will point to the revived Roman Empire,
Yeah.
which kind of like, all this talk about all these different kings and leaders and stuff, and he will take, kind of like take down these other leaders, and he will get power and like kind of bring back the Roman Empire kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like important because in the early church, a lot of the Christians thought that a lot of the different emperors were antichrist or
Mm-hmm.
forms of the antichrist, just because of the persecution that they were under.
Yeah.
As far as like, you don't have to go look that far. I mean, you with the Christians in the Colosseum and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think which one the worst was. There's one, Nero. Nero is probably one of the worst Roman emperors as far as Christian persecution. And what's really weird about Nero, I mean, obviously it's just a statue of Nero, but if you look at the statues of Nero, it's probably not any correlation at all, but they look a lot like Bill Clinton. It's very,
Really?
very strange. Yeah, I always thought when I
Huh.
saw Nero and like the statues of him, I'm like, man, this guy looks a lot like Bill Clinton. Not that Bill Clinton is Antichrist. He's
It could
not,
be. No, I'm just
but
kidding.
he's not. But I just thought it was
I
very
did
strange.
not have relations with that woman. No,
Yeah,
I can't do that voice.
going back to the '90s on that
Yeah.
one. But I just always thought he did look like him. I mean, at least according to the sculpture that I saw. I mean, who knows what Nero actually looked like? But because I feel like most sculptures and paintings are like a little bit off as far as like what people actually look like. But
Yeah. But there's a
um,
lot of that with like
yeah,
not going off on a rabbit trail, but there's a lot of like celebrities who look like, you know, leaders from the past, which
hmm
is very bizarre,
yeah, for sure. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
just because there's only certain, different types of people. Like even when they say everyone's got like a doppelganger or someone that looks like you.
Yeah.
Like I had someone reach out to me and said that they had seen someone in Maine that looked exactly like me. So much so that they reached out to me and told me that I swear to God, were you in Maine? And blah blah. I was like, no, I'm not in Maine. And they're like, I saw this person that looked exactly like you. And then I had a buddy like 10 years or maybe probably 10 years before that said, oh, there's this guy in New York that looks just like you, da 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 da. So I think everyone has at least 3 or 4 people that look like exactly the same. Speaking of that, furthermore, I saw this TikTok video of these 2 guys who are not related at all. Well, at least I
Oh,
don't.
I know. Yeah, I
Did you
know
see that
exactly what you're talking
video?
about. Is it
These
the
guys.
baseball players that are?
No. Oh, I
Oh,
don't know if they're baseball players, but
there's
just 2
baseball players that look identical. They have the same name, and they
Oh,
both
that is
play
weird.
professional baseball.
Oh, that is
It's
strange.
crazy. Yeah.
That is weird. So it's not. Well, see, this goes to show you. I think there's
Yeah.
like for every person that looks like someone, there's like several people that look exactly like you. So these 2 random guys on TikTok that somehow they came across each other's profiles or something, and so they live near each other and they met up and they like took a picture with each other and they
Yeah.
did like a video of like them meeting each other, and they stood next to each other, and I'm like, these guys have got to be like brothers or something, but they're not. But they're like literally identical. Um, and I was like, this is weird, but it goes to show. I just think there's only so many types of faces and combinations that you can look, and I just think that there's probably um like for every person that you think is unique, there's like several people that look exactly like you that aren't related to you.
So these baseball players, they're both named Bradley Feiger. I don't know. For some reason, it's not letting me go there. Bradley Feiger or something like that. Yeah, Bradley Feigle. I can't pronounce that. Anyways, look at this.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do look a lot alike.
and they have the same name.
Yeah, the same name is weird. I mean, even
Yeah,
weirder, I should say, because they do look alike. Like if you would tell me that those guys, I mean, if the guy on the left had a little bit bushier beard or a little
yeah,
bit longer beard, they'd be indistinguishable.
yeah. I
Like
know
you
it's
put those
weird.
guys in like a lineup,
Yeah,
you wouldn't be able to tell the like who's who
nope.
unless you knew them, like actually knew them personally.
It's so crazy. I'm trying to find more pictures of them now. Yeah, it's so bizarre. Here's another picture of them. It's crazy.
I got 2 guys right here. I'm trying to get like a screenshot of these guys. Hopefully you can actually see this. Oh, dang it. Here, I'm just gonna pull it up.
Okay.
But these guys are not the same person.
We worked at the same company.
Oh,
The people used to say, "Have you met Nathaniel? He looks just like you."
I do not think I'm like someone else. People were like, "Oh, there's a guy who looks just like you." Okay, I'm curious. I really want to meet him.
They literally look the same.
yeah, that's crazy.
And these guys work at the same company. And this isn't even the guys I was talking about. You know what I mean? So like I was
Yeah.
like, holy moly, there's so many people that look like literally identical.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, so weird. So weird.
It is very weird.
Someone had yes, another person had told me that actually recently. I forget where I was working. Like the guy like literally stopped in his tracks. He was like, "Oh, you look like I don't know the guy's name. I don't remember. We'll just say Tony. You look like Tony. I swear, you look exactly like Tony, man. It's wild." And he's like, "Hey," and he's like, "Even your voice sounds like him." He's like, "Could you say this?" And I forget what he asked me to say. I don't know, something that he says all the time. And I said it, and he's like, "You sound exactly like him. You look exactly like him." And I'm like,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's so weird." And I'm like, God, I'm definitely not him.
Yeah. Oh,
You know what I
there's only
mean?
one person I found that look like. I'm trying to find that picture, but it was weird. Like I can't remember what I was doing. It was like a few years ago, surfing the internet or something, and I came across this guy, and I was like, "Whoa, that guy looks like me." But I probably won't be able to find it. But anyways, if I find it, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, dude, it's so bizarre, like how I don't know. I guess there's only so
many
many different
different combinations.
combinations of
So
yeah.
I found the TikTok video. It's
Oh,
only
did you?
29 seconds. Yeah, I
Okay.
found it. And so, oh man, I'm trying to get a clearer image of these guys. Actually, let me just look for the video. But yeah, it was, I just thought it was so crazy. Here it is. Yeah. TikTok's like, oh, you got to do this little image thing to prove
Yeah.
you're a human. I am a human.
Are you though? Are you
Now I'm
really?
not sure.
That's insane, dude.
Right?
Yeah,
They literally look exactly the same.
that's insane.
And so yeah, those guys like live near each other and just they've never met. They're not related at all. And I'm like, oh my god, when I saw that video, I was like, wow, they even have like they almost had like the same expressions and stuff.
Yeah, I know. That's
You're like, what is
so
going
weird.
on? It's almost as if like the simulation talk or like the everyone like clone talk. Or like
Yeah.
you see that video of like anyone born in like the 80s to the 90s has this one birthmark on their arm. Have you seen that
Oh yeah,
before?
yeah. I have seen
You know
that.
what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, that's BS. And then I look at my arm and I'm like, oh, huh.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
wish I
wait,
could find.
I have that one too.
I wish I could find my doppelganger. I cannot find it though. Hmm. Oh well, guys, you're not going to see my doppelganger. I got a picture of not my great grandfather, my grandfather, who I look like.
I've seen that too, where I saw like
This is my grandfather.
oh wow, I love his top hat.
Yeah. So
That's awesome. I could
similar.
yeah, well,
Mhm.
especially if yeah, no, definitely. Especially if you did
Mhm.
your the mustache a little bit more
Yeah.
like him and had it more separated. I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
Like I said, I saw one of I think it was a grandfather and the grandson or something like that. And it was like the grandfather in like World War II and the grandson, and they were like literally the same. Like
Really.
the same face. Yeah. Cause like them around the same age and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, like sometimes like in certain pictures you can look like your mother or your dad or stuff like that. That's easily like explainable. It's like, oh, you're their offspring. But to have
Mhm.
someone that like looks exactly like you that you're not related to, that's pretty weird.
Yeah. It is
And
weird.
I think it's a lot more common than we know or even would think about. So, yeah, it's kind of wild. I don't know how we got caught on doppelgangers, but
Image of the beast.
I mean, yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, who knows? Maybe the image of the beast will do stuff like that. I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird.
Definitely weird though. But
It's
it
very
just goes to
weird.
show you. Yeah.
Who
But I
knows? I mean, it's. I mean, I wish I knew like how
that
like
works.
yeah how I just I'm just keep thinking about it how like how God picks out our faces. I guess
Yeah.
you know
Or if he only made a certain number of them,
certain number of combinations. Yeah,
combinations, and
of
that's what it is.
noses, eyes, and
Yeah,
ears.
yeah,
And,
yeah. Yep. And so like sometimes there's a couple overlaps. Now, obviously, personality wise, there's probably not a perfect match between looks and personality.
yeah,
But sometimes you might get I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that have similar personalities that don't look like each other and that kind of an aspect. Yeah,
that's
I
me.
could see that.
That
Yeah.
no, that is me. Like in
That is you,
that is literally is me. This is
just like
like
much younger.
yeah, it's high school.
Oh,
I was probably
wow.
a senior in high school. Yeah, everyone said it looked like Fred Durst
Yeah, I could
from
see that.
yeah.
I could see that. You know what's weird? Like, that other g if you would have put that picture up and not told me that was you,
Mhm.
I'd be like, "Oh, okay." I wouldn't even know it was you, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you said, "Hey, this is my doppelganger guy that looks like me," I'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I could see that." You know what I mean? Because I feel like, people change too, like, people's appearances kinda change too
Yeah, they do.
over
Yeah.
the years sometimes. Like, trying to think.
Here it
There's
is. This is the
You found him?
Yeah, I found it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that, especially if you did your goatee like him.
I do have a picture. I used to have just a goatee.
Just like
So,
him.
just like that. Yeah. That's not a good picture. I'm going all the way through my Facebook, guys, to find this. It's for your entertainment. I hope you appreciate it.
Are you not entertained?
There's another picture of me when I was younger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Wow.
weird angle, but yeah.
Yeah, you
I
definitely.
was a lot
I
I was
think
a
you
lot
look so
skinnier,
different.
a lot skinnier back then, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you look so different, for sure. But like I said,
Yep.
yeah, sometimes even like yeah, you just like the way people look, your look changes. Or over time, sometimes you like look less like one parent than the other. What was I gonna
Yeah.
say? There's an
Just keep
actor.
showing pictures of myself.
Okay, now that looks like a lot like that other guy that you showed.
Yeah.
I could see how that's you for
Yeah.
sure.
But
But
anyways,
there's this the actor that plays in Robin Hood Men in Tights, the main actor that plays
oh
Robin
yeah.
Hood.
Yeah, I can't
That
think of his
guy,
name.
that guy's appearance, I felt like I saw him like older, and I almost didn't recognize him. Like he just looks so much different to me. So like yeah, even people that like are like child actors sometimes. Like you see like some child actors you see when they're young, and then say if you see them like older, you're like, oh yeah, 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 I recognize them. But then there's other people that are like child actors that are like older that you don't recognize. They
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
kind of don't look like how they did when they were a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird how that works too. I guess it's just kind of like growing into your face.
Like Chunk from the Goonies. He
Ch
looks nothing
Yes.
nothing like
Yes,
himself.
absolutely. You know, it's kind of like that too. I mean, he was kind of like chunky, so maybe that's why. Jared, was it Jerry O'Connell?
Yeah,
Who
Jerry O'Connell. Yeah.
he was in
Yeah. He was
Stand
in
by
Stand
Me.
by Me. Yeah.
Yeah, if you were to see that kid like him as in that movie, and then a picture of him now, you'd be like, oh, that like you could
Yeah.
be like, oh, I could see maybe how that looks like the same person, but like he looks completely different. Like I didn't
Yeah.
even know that he was in that movie until someone told me, and I was like, "What do you?" I was like, "What? He's in that movie? What are you talking about?" And then of course, I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "That is him." But like I said, he changed so much and looks so different.
Yeah.
So
Speaking
yeah,
of Jerry
it's
O'Connell,
weird.
one of the greatest TV shows of all time,
Sliders.
Sliders. You guys
Yeah,
gotta
dude,
check
I
it
love
out.
Sliders. Sliders is incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Me and Nicole watched the whole series. Oh god, this is probably like 4 or 5 years ago now. But yeah, we watched the whole series. Great show.
It
Love that
was. It
show.
was really good.
Yeah, and there's a couple episodes of that show that are just wild. And man, it's been so long since I've seen them now, but I think there's an angle where they get rid of like one of the girl characters,
Hmm.
and the way they do it is just so strange, and they just like get rid of her, but like she gets stuck in another dimension or something.
Hmm.
And then that's kind of like the end of her.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly, like I think that's like what happens. But yeah, there's a lot of like weird stuff like that in that show. I love that
Yeah.
show though. Such a great concept, great show. Um, yeah, talking about like infinite dimensions.
Yeah. Which is a thing.
Yeah,
It's a
apparently.
thing, guys. It's a really thing.
Yeah.
Guys, I mean, I don't want to go down the interdimensional route tonight. We'll be here all night.
Yeah, right.
But I just started thinking, my mind just started cranking on the interdimensional.
Yeah.
But I do believe that aliens are dimensional. They're not coming from outer space.
Oh
And
no,
they're
I
demonic.
agree.
That's 100%. And that's all I'm going to say about that. We're done with the dimensional stuff tonight.
I agree with you, and that's where we'll leave it. For those who want to know more about the Antichrist and sort of biblical stuff, I'm going to throw a couple verses out there for people. I'm not going to read them, just verses that people can look up. 1 John 2:8, and if you're looking for like an Old Testament reference of Antichrist, if you go to Daniel 7:24 and 20 through 27, it talks about the final persecutor, and that's basically the Antichrist as well. And then, of course, Jesus talks about the Antichrist in Matthew 24:24. You can probably do like 22 to 24. And then Paul talks about the Antichrist in 2 Thessalonians 2:3 to 12. Obviously, Revelation 13 specifically kind of starts the Antichrist talk. Like Jason said, I think it goes to like 15, maybe 13, 14, 15
Mhm.
chapters. And there's some other verses as well that if you want to dive deeper into it, that you could look up, and that will be able to help you guys if you guys have never really heard of the Antichrist, or kind of like, you read through Revelation and you're like, man, I need some help with this, because Revelation is a very tough book to read and understand, because there's a lot in there that is kind of hard to understand, just because the way it's written. A lot of
Mhm.
it's written in kind of like I want to say dreams, but sort of visions, and sort of seeing things of the future, but sometimes in kind of like a dream way, where, and what I mean by that is, sometimes you have a dream and things are just wild,
Yeah.
and you see some things, you're like, oh, this things that just don't make sense sometimes, or you're like, well, what is this beast, and what that has all these horns, and it has a blasphemy on its head, and all, like, what I mean. So there's some stuff in there that if you read it the first time, you're like, what is this talking about? And then there's other parts of it that are more easy to understand. But I would definitely recommend every Christian read it for
Mhm.
sure. It's funny. I'll leave you guys with this. My New Testament teacher in college always said to us, because when we talked about Revelation, when we got into like Revelation, he's like, look, before we get into any of this stuff, I just want to let you guys know that if anyone ever says to you that they know everything about Revelation, then they don't know what they're talking about, because there's so much in here that just we don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's just the way it was written. It was written by an ancient person looking at things into the future. Not part of it like is dream type stuff, and other parts of it are, it's like an ancient person seeing things in the future and trying to make sense of it as far as what he knows and what he knows. Like, so he's describing in things that he knows. So if he's seeing things of the future that we would know, he's not going to describe it in the same way that we would describe it, because he's an ancient person. He doesn't know what a helicopter is. He doesn't know what, futuristic things look like. You know what I mean? So like it's I think that's where a lot of the stuff kind of gets muddled and sort of hard to understand sometimes, because it is written by a person that's from, thousands of years ago, that, is seeing things from the future. So
Yeah.
um, just keep that in mind when you're reading it. And, like the first line or second line of Revelation says, if you read it, the Lord will bless you. So read it aloud, read it to someone else, and the Lord will bless you. So
Definitely. Definitely. Hey guys, I want to say thanks for checking out Image of the Invisible. Make sure you go to Instagram and give us a follow. That's IOTI podcast on Instagram. And also on YouTube, if you're on Phil's YouTube and you're not subscribed to us on our YouTube page, please go there and check it out. And that is IOTI podcast also on YouTube. Or if you go to AFK Discussions, it still is under that, because AFK Discussions is still kind of like our parent company, if you would. I kept the name just, but because it was a good name. I don't want to lose it. So, but yeah, guys, so check that out. Like, follow, all that good stuff, subscribe, hit the little bell icon, whatever you want to do, just, click it. But anyways, guys, I thank you again. And also check out fattack.com. I forgot to say that at the beginning of the show, but fattack.com for all your tactical needs, big or small, they have you covered over at Fattack. But Phil, anything else you want to say?
yeah, if you guys have any prayer requests or want us to pray for you, please reach out. Anything like that, we will definitely pray for you, and we'll see you guys week after next.
Yep.
Awesome. You guys have a
All
good
right.
night.
See you guys.
Peace.
Peace.